So as we head towards the middle of the year, it is the summertime, and that is showcase season, that is announcement season, that is historically E3 season. But as we've seen, E3 is getting canceled, and all we have right now is kind of the summer game showcase, or the Keighley showcase as people are calling it. Xbox announced their showcase coming in June 11th to be exact, which I will be covering. Nintendo has a Indie World event or something going on in September, and people have been waiting for PlayStation. So PlayStation's been fairly quiet. Last year you had Horizon Forbidden West and you had God of War Ragnarok, but besides Spider-Man 2 coming in the fall, we didn't really know what Sony had coming. So we had the announcement yesterday, Wednesday, May 25th. And a lot of people was getting excited. I didn't necessarily do a predictions video for this because I'm not really a Sony person, plus I don't really know what to be excited for. I kind of just keep up to date with what they have coming on, and then, kind of go from there, pick out what I like and what I don't like. So safe to say a lot of people were a little underwhelmed by the presentation yesterday, but we're going to go through everything here today. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Make sure you hit that like button, and let's get right into this PlayStation showcase yesterday. So when it comes to showcases, you do want to start off pretty strong and you want to end strong. You want to get started with a bang, like get everybody's attention, make sure everybody knows why they're here, what they're in store for the next hour or so. So PlayStation didn't really do that. So first off, we got the game from Haven called Fair Games, and this was what everybody was waiting to see. Sony's kind of said, hey, we have this dedication to live service. We know Bungie's going to be doing their live service games. They're looking for that for the next 10 years. And we got to look at Fair Games, and to be honest, very underwhelming. Kind of looked like a Payday / squad, crime kind of game. It wasn't really understood what the game actually was. And that was kind of the story for this whole showcase. We got a bunch of CGI trailers, a bunch of either release windows or no release windows at all, and that's kind of how this whole showcase kind of went. There wasn't a lot of what the games actually are, actual gameplay, actual solid release dates. And then after that, we got Helldivers 2, which I never heard of this franchise. It did say it would come out in September of this year. Helldivers originally was a top-down twin stick shooter. This game does look kind of interesting. I do like the humor we got in the trailer, so it did seem kind of in that not spoof or parody style, but just that little over-the-top humor to have in such a game. Then after that, we got a game that we already knew about, but it was Immortals of Aveum, which isn't a PlayStation exclusive. It will be on Xbox as well, which we will talk about later when it comes to these multi-platform games that were at the showcase that weren't actually first-party PlayStation exclusives or anything like that. But that game will be coming out on July 20th. It does seem pretty interesting. It does seem kind of like what we expect Avowed to kind of be like, just that mystic RPG. It's like shooter, but also having your other hand to shoot magic and different abilities and things like that. Then we got a few smaller games. We got Ghost Runner 2. I never played the original Ghost Runner, but it did look pretty interesting. We didn't get a solid release date on it, but it will be coming out in 2023. But then we got a really interesting game in Phantom Blade Zero. So I know a lot of people have been kind of complaining about the samurai style games that's coming out, especially on Sony. We got, Ghost of Tsushima, Trek to Yomi, all these games Ishin Like a Dragon, stuff like that. But Phantom Blade Zero looks very unique, especially in the fighting style. There's a lot of acrobatics, there's a lot of fighting multiple enemies at once, but not just being surrounded by a bunch and going to this person and going to that person, literally fighting multiple people at once, countering and then hitting another person at the same time. A lot of different dodging abilities and attacking different extremities of the body, and not just a straight on regular fighting style. So this game looks pretty interesting, but again, we didn't get any type of indication of when the game would come out. I do believe it will be a PS5 exclusive, so I'll probably pick this one up. I don't know if it'll be day one, but then again, who knows? Because who knows when day one even is. Then we got a long period of time of a bunch of indie titles that no one really cares about. Sword of the Sea, Neva, Talos Principle 2, Cat Quest. Is just like, again, even these, and this was the surprising part. You know, people align with indies to kind of have some versatility. Our indies want that, you know, more shine on their game because they're lesser known titles and lesser known studios, but we didn't get any real solid release dates on these either. Then next up, we got a game that no one probably saw coming. We did see a flash of Square Enix's logo, and then we got Foamstars, which, oh man, this game literally is Splatoon with Bubble Bath. Like, I don't know, like, people were probably thinking we'd see, you know, beforehand, we might see Kingdom Hearts 4, we might see Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2, we might see, you know, that Final Fantasy 3 or whatever remake, like, we might see something else, but Foamstars, I don't know who's gonna buy this, but again, we didn't even get a real release date on it, so who knows. Next up, we got a game that I'm actually interested in. So the Plucky Squire, this looks like a smaller indie title. It will be coming out in 2023, no official release date, but to me, when I first saw it, I automatically thought about A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS. There's a lot of different game style changes. You're going from 2D to 3D and things like that. Some people also equate it to, you know, Super Mario Odyssey, which I can see that too, but the Plucky Squire definitely looks very interesting. I'm interested in this title. No solid release date. It will be out this year though, so I'll probably pick it up. Then this is where the showcase kind of, you know, picked up a little bit. We got the CGI trailer and announcement for, you know, the worst kept secret of the showcase, but Metal Gear Solid Snakeeater will be coming out. It will be rebranded as Metal Gear Solid Delta Snakeeater instead of Metal Gear Solid 3, but it did look, I mean, it was a nice CGI trailer, but again, no release date, which is kind of crazy at this point. Like, this was probably one of the big announcements of the showcase, and there was no release date. We did also get a release information about the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. It did say Volume 1, so that's kind of interesting. What will Volume 2 have? Maybe it'll have you know, Metal Gear Solid 4, which is stuck on the PlayStation 3, maybe Metal Gear Solid 5 a little touched up, and then maybe Metal Gear Rising, who knows? People have been asking for that game, but that's supposed to come out in the fall of this year, so we'll have the original 1, 2, and 3 Metal Gear Solid games, so that's good for people who didn't play the originals. I'm not really a Metal Gear Solid head. I've never played them. I'm not into stealth games at all, so maybe I'll pick it up, probably not, but if I get it for a good deal, I probably will. Then we saw another gameplay trailer for Final Fantasy 16, which we've seen a million times at this point. We've seen Street Fighter 6 again coming out next week, so nothing really to note there. But then we finally got the release date for Alan Wake 2. And people thought we'd see this at the Xbox showcase, considering Alan Wake number 1 originally launched on the Xbox 360, but I mean, it was good to see too. Looks pretty cool. It has like horror survival, you know, elements to it, but also looks a little bit of that, you know, mystical, supernatural type stuff. So I'm definitely interested in this game. It will be coming out October 17th. Remedy did announce that the game will be $60 on console and then $50 on PC. The reason for this, because another thing with these games is, are we going to see all these games at $70? But they also announced that it's only going to be a digital version. So a lot of people are like questioning that, and you know, Remedy came out to say, like, listen, most people buy stuff digitally at this point anywhere. Like, we're moving towards that. It doesn't make sense to do a physical version, especially when physicals at this point, especially on the Xbox and PlayStation, they just come with a disc with whatever amount of the game on it, and then you have to download or do a, you know, patch or whatever anyway. So it's kind of like, what is the point of doing that? So they do have a digital deluxe edition, which I believe is $80, so you are saving a bit of money. If it was up to these developers, everything would be digital. I believe that wholeheartedly. Then we got another release date, but again, we're getting release dates for third-party games or multi-platform games, so it's I don't know, man. But we got Assassin's Creed Mirage coming out on October 12th, and I mean, I'm not an Assassin's Creed fan, but I know a lot of fans were happy to see that this is going kind of back to the roots, you know, Assassin's Creed 2 style, as opposed to where we've been with, you know, Odyssey and Valhalla and even Black Flag to an extent. I know a lot of people like Black Flag when it first came out, but then it kind of turned into this big open world type of style. But now Assassin's Creed seems to be going back to its roots, a lot smaller, tighter, you know, actual assassin type of, you know, activities going on. So Assassin's Creed Mirage, people have been waiting for it. Ubisoft hasn't really shipped a big game in a while, so this is good to see. Then we had a PlayStation VR 2 segment, which a lot of people were expecting as well, but people have still been kind of waiting for what is that game to make people want to get a PSVR 2. We've seen the sales have been around, I think it was around 600,000, which isn't terrible, but people are, you know, saying like, okay, is Sony going to keep with it? Where are they going to have to support this, get the sales up? And we did see they are doing Resident Evil 4, the remaster for PSVR 2 looks pretty cool. We did see Arizona Sunshine 2. Now this game looks pretty good. It is kind of that, you know, comedy zombie style game. You see, you know, you as yourself in a kind of like a confessional talking to a zombie before you throw a grenade in there to kill him. There's a lot of humor into this game, so I think this one will be pretty good pickup. I don't know, a lot of people are gonna get it or buy a PSVR 2 just to play this, but definitely good for people that already do own the system. No release date, just 2023. We did see Crossfire Sierra Squad, which we've seen Crossfire X on Xbox just get canned, so I don't know what's going on with that. We saw Synapse July 4th. We saw Beat Saber, which looks like a, you know, rhythm Fruit Ninja type of style, Guitar Hero type of game, which is already out on the Oculus, so, you know, other headsets do have access to this game, but you will be able to play that. Then we saw Bungie. So Bungie, like I said, has been tasked with coming up with these live service games for Sony after Sony acquired them for, I think it was like $3 billion or so. And we did get a CGI trailer for Marathon. So for people that didn't know, before Halo, Bungie had a series called Marathon, which I never played. I think it was on the PC only back in like the mid to late 90s. Again, we didn't get too much info on what the heck this game is, but it definitely has that, you know, Bungie charm to it, you know, what the Halos and Destinies look like. So Marathon, curious to see what that looks like. We also did get an announcement for the Destiny Final Shape Showcase that will be coming out on August 22nd. We did get a trailer for the Gran Turismo movie, which I don't think anyone expected to kind of see here, but I mean, hey, it's PlayStation first party, might as well promote it. Then there was kind of like a pie in the sky, you know, hope for a lot of people to see some type of hardware at this, maybe a PlayStation 5, you know, refresh or slim model. But we did get a look at the PSQ Lite, which they are calling the Project Q, which was the, you know, rumored streaming handheld device. No release date on that yet, but it basically looks like a DualSense 5 controller on the sides and then a screen in the middle. Also announced some earbuds, which I mean, I think makes sense. Every console kind of has their own headphones, but now people are going to, you know, Bluetooth earbuds, with AirPods being super popular and things like that. And obviously they can connect to other things like your phone and everything, but, you know, gives you that quality sound experience if you don't want to have giant over-the-head headphones all the time. And then to close out the show, we did get what most people expected, but we didn't really know during the trailer. It was Spider-Man 2, because it opened with, you know, just you're in the jungle, and then it was Kraven the Hunter in there, which is a pretty not super popular Spider-Man villain. I mean, compared to, you know, Venom and Dr. Octopus and Green Goblin and, you know, Kingpin and things like that. But we did get a lot of gameplay for it, around, you know, 10 to 12 minutes or so. You did see that we will be playing, it is a single player experience, but you will be flipping back and forth between Peter and Miles. you did see some different abilities. We got Peter with the Venom suit, or the black, symbiote suit, already on for the entirety of the game so far that we've seen. And you can kind of see, like, in his tone, his brashness, and the personality of what the symbiote kind of does to you really coming out. We've seen some cool abilities though he has with, like, the multiple arms grabbing people, the different, like, rough, rugged look to his suit. Just his dialogue is completely different. And Miles has his electric abilities. He's able to also shoot kind of like platforms or like wires that normally you would go across, like city lines or whatever, but he's doing that with his web, so you can kind of traverse around and sneak around a little easier. We got a cool, like, fight chase scene across the water, flying through train cars and feet surfing or wind surfing, whatever they call it. It's looking pretty good. So Spider-Man 2, I mean, we did expect to see it here. We did get to finally see gameplay. I'm expecting you to have to fight Peter at one point, like he's going to transform, and then you'll probably both come together to fight Venom or something like that. And once the symbiote is, like, detached from Peter. And then that pretty much closed the show out. We still didn't get a release date for Spider-Man 2. It still said fall 2023, which, again, like I said in the beginning of this video, like, the release dates were so bare, and I don't know, man. We'll have to see what happens, but it's looking good either way. I don't have any doubts that it will come out. I don't think it's getting delayed. PlayStation's done this. They did it with God of War Ragnarok, where there was barely any advertisement, and then, like, a month or two before, they just picked up the marketing. So there's no room to be worried about anything. Now, the interesting thing with Xbox, and I didn't see this until the next day, but Xbox was being a little spicy during this whole Sony presentation. So as Sony was making these, like, release announcements, Xbox was tweeting out about what games were being released, and then they also, at the end of it, tweeted out a tweet that I'm showing up on the screen right here. It says, "What a good looking group." And this got over 8 million impressions so far, but they have the coming to Xbox on the side. And then you see 12 games that was shown during the PlayStation showcase that are also coming to Xbox. So you got, Immortals of Aveum, Ghost Runner 2, Marathon, Metal Gear Solid, Dragon's Dogma 2, Alan Wake 2, Plucky Squire, which is good because I'll probably just get that on Xbox. That does seem like a good Game Pass game if they could do that, but I don't think they will. Tear Down, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Neva, and then the Talos Principle 2. So a good amount of heavy hitters in here as far as what was at the showcase. I mean, Alan Wake 2, Metal Gear Solid specifically, and it's interesting to see Marathon. I mean, Destiny is available, but it's cool to see a Bungie title, especially their original, being on Xbox again. So Xbox, at this point, I know this is a PlayStation video, but I mean, Xbox kind of dodged a bullet here. This is kind of the opportunity, with them going through all they went through with the Redfall situation, the CMA situation, all the just, like, last year being super bare. This is a time for Xbox to really take advantage with, Nintendo pretty much going to just put out smaller games since Tears of the Kingdom came out and wait till their new hardware comes out. Sony kind of has Spider-Man, as we've seen, and that might be their only big first party. I mean, they have Final Fantasy 16, that's a third party game, but it is an exclusive. And then Xbox has their showcase next month, and I mean, even if maybe some things they weren't going to say, they can switch around. It's not going to be live, so they can, add some things, take some things out, maybe announce something earlier than they wanted to, who knows. And then they just got to deliver, and to be honest, they can be right back in this thing, but again, they have to deliver. So, where do I rate the showcase? I put up a poll yesterday on the community page. Most people are saying around a C. That's kind of where I thought it was. Spider-Man did kind of save it, but again, like, a lot of these games we either knew were going to be there or were rumored, and then whatever we didn't know that was going to be there is kind of like an indie title or just games no one really cares about. And if you had some interest in it, we just saw CGI trailers and then no actual solid release date. So, I mean, the highlights, of course, Spider-Man 2, Metal Gear Solid remake, that Phantom Blade game definitely is a highlight. So we'll have to see what happens with Sony, but I am looking forward to Xbox's showcase next month. I will be doing a full recap on that along with the Starfield Direct, so make sure you guys have that notification bell clicked on so that you will get notified when I put that video out. So that's all I gotta say. Let me know in the comment section below how you felt about the PlayStation Showcase. Leave a like on this video, subscribe if you have not, and I'll catch you on the next video.